What up, y'all? Looks like Diddy has just added a new lawyer to his legal defense. Let's check it out. Hey, make sure you subscribe to my page. I'm trying to grow over here. So Diddy has just hired Brian Steele, who famously defended Young Thug in his state RICO case. Now, a state RICO case and federal RICO cases are two different animals. And Brian Steele technically didn't get Young Thug off. Young Thug got tired and he took a plea deal and just pled guilty so he can get out of jail. And if we keeping it a buck, Lil Woody or Lil Woody, whatever his name is, he actually blew that whole case up. But anyway, back to Diddy. I knew when they announced that Brian Steele was coming aboard that this trial was going to be postponed because there's no way that Brian Steele can get fully caught up on this case without having some time to sort through all this stuff. So it has been confirmed that the judge is going to allow this case to be pushed off for about 2 months, which I honestly think it works out best for everybody. It gives Diddy and his team time enough to get his life together. They can work on his defense. Unfortunately, this case is going to be ongoing, so that gives the feds more time to keep digging and building on their case that they're putting up. I've always said from the jump that Diddy's lawyer requested a speedy trial because they thought the feds didn't have everything together. So they figured if they rush them to trial, they're going to make mistakes or they're not going to have all their evidence together and we can win. That is what I think Diddy's lawyer told him. But it completely backfired, okay? Not only are the feds ready, but every single day they're adding more victims. So they're still building a case on him to make sure that their case is airtight. Therefore, they keep sending more and more and more evidence to Diddy's lawyers, and they're just getting completely buried. Diddy's team is now realizing that this is too much information to process through, and they've even said in court filings like, yo, this is just too much. It's giving us an unfair advantage if we don't have enough time to really sort through all this stuff, or we need to get some of this stuff thrown out because it's just making Diddy look bad. We can't fight all this stuff. So Diddy's request to have a speedy trial is really becoming pie in the face, and now they're phoning friends saying, hey, we need help. We need more lawyers, and that's where Brian Steele comes in. For y'all that don't know, Diddy had a lawyer helping his legal team out by the name of Anthony Rico, and he left the case about 2 months ago, and we never really got the reason why, but the rumor is he felt like they needed more time and they needed to push this trial off. He also felt like he could not speak to Diddy directly. I think he either was going to tell Diddy like, yo, this defense ain't going to work, or he probably was going to tell Diddy like, yo, you need to take a plea deal, or he was going to say, bro, we need to push this off. So it sounds like there was a power struggle going on between Anthony Rico and Diddy's lead lawyer, Mark Agnafilio. So Anthony just gracefully bowed out and said, bro, I can't do this. I can't work on this team. I'm out. So I found it odd that Brian Steele is coming in, and he's an alpha man. He's used to leading his own cases. So is he coming in to take full control of this case, or is he just going to be a backup lawyer for assistance? Now, what I can say is Brian does specialize in criminal appeal, so he may be good on that front to help Diddy out, but he also handles RICO cases as well. To me, my theory, it sounds like Diddy just was not happy with his current legal team, and he's hearing about Young Thug not going to prison, ASAP Rocky not going to jail, so he's probably in there spazzing like, yo, I need a different lawyer. Y'all ain't getting this done. All these other guys, all my other rapper friends are getting out, and I'm still stuck in here. Hey, go get me their lawyer. But yo, man, this Diddy case is crazy. They are right now 5 victims. If y'all remember at one point they were saying Cassie was the only victim. Now there's 5 potential victims. We're also hearing, I'm not even gonna say hearing, it's in the paperwork that the feds have given out proffer agreements, which means they have sat down with people in Diddy's inner circle and said, listen, tell me everything that you know and you won't go to jail if you testify on this trial. So a lot of people that could have possibly been his co-defendants have flipped on him and snitched. This is the reason right now there's only one person in this RICO case, which is Diddy, because there's probably a whole slew of people just snitching. I mean, what would you do if I'm the personal assistant and Diddy hires me and I'm just supposed to be going to get the baby oil and I'm the one going to get all the prophylactics and toys and the feds come to me and say, hey, you finna go down if you don't tell us everything you know? I'm talking too. So I don't blame all these people for taking all these proffer agreements. Now, TMZ was also reporting that Diddy was on the prowl for a Black woman attorney as well. Now, a lot of us think, well, most of us think, hey, is this for optics? Because why does it matter if she's a Black black woman. You should just be looking for the best of the best attorney. I hope they're not using this as some legal strategy to have this black woman cross-examining the women victims, because I don't think that's going to go over well. Because Diddy's lawyers are saying that a lot of these victims are ex-girlfriends. And just from us in the blog and hip-hop community, we know a lot of Diddy's ex-girlfriends are not fully black. He dates a lot of racially ambiguous women. So if it was me, I wouldn't put a black woman or a man up to the task to cross-examining these women. I'd have a white woman do it, because it's just ingrained in a lot of people's subconscious that, one, you don't want a man just beating down on a woman on the stand, and you don't really want a black woman coming aggressively at lighter skinned women. Optically and historically, it just never bodes well, because when you have black women either coming at white women or lighter skinned women, this whole thing of colorism and racism seeps in, and it looks like the black woman is being the angry black woman and being aggressive with the dainty white woman or the dainty light-skinned woman. We will see if this pans out and if he's able to attract a Blk Woman Lawyer. I do know at one point he did have Sean Holly on his team, but I think she either got away from this case pretty quickly or she's working on the civil side. Sean Holly gives me the energy that if she can't win, she just gonna dip out, because that's what happened in the Tory Lanez trial. She told him, like, yo, this defense that you want to use isn't a viable one. And she said, I'm not gonna stand beside it, so I'm just gonna get on up out of here and you can get another legal team, because this Kelsey defense ain't gonna work. So hey, maybe she's that Blk Woman Lawyer that can come and stand next to Diddy. We'll see. Now, I don't really want to talk about Diddy's legal team, because look, they're all smarter than me. But his lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, always gave me the energy that he was in over his head on this case. When I saw this joker on TMZ talking about Diddy may have bought the baby oil from Costco in bulk, I was like, yo, whose mans is this? Costco came out like, bro, we don't sell baby oil in bulk. Like, what lawyer gets on TV and says that? This case started out goofy. He also made a statement at one point in one of the legal filings and was like, hey, we've talked to one of the male escorts and he said everything was consensual. So I'm like, yo, are you openly admitting that Diddy did have male escort workers? Does he realize, like, this is one of the charges? He's literally charged with transporting workers to be intimate with, and you're admitting, like, yo, we done already talked to one of the dudes. I'm like, yo, does he realize this is a charge? Is he, like, openly admitting, like, we know Diddy was doing this? We even talked to one of the freak-off workers? Crazy. I also think this defense that he's trying to put up of racism is just not gonna fly. And Mark Agnifilo just did a bad job of trying to rush this to trial, because it sounds like the feds have a ton of evidence that they have to go through. But yo, Diddy and his team, they wanted to speed forward with this case, and unfortunately they may have to pay the consequence. But yo, how do y'all feel about Diddy bringing on a new attorney? Do you think this is gonna help the case out? Leave your comments below. Thanks for hanging out with me. Peace.